bright sunshiny day from Pennsylvania. It's the Pennsylvania 200. 15 laps of racing remain in this one. Jeremy Clements out in front of Josh Wise, Aaron Crocker, Mark Mitchell, Frank Kimmel, your top five. The lights are out on the pace car. Next time they come by the grandstands, it will be green flag racing. Don't forget the Speed Performance Awards are coming up at season's end. Hopefully you're keeping track of your favorite moves. The first half of the season has been exciting and controversial, so who better to take a look at what's on tap for the awards than SpeedTV.com's Robin Miller. Robin?
Hi, Robin Miller from SpeedTV.com here. It's time to get angry and take it out by marking your calendars. The 2007 Speed Performance Awards, driven by BF Goodrich, will be back, and online voting begins in November. Only on SpeedTV.com. Okay, I feel better now. And so do some of these possible nominees for the Temper Award. It's good to vent. Last year's winner set the bar so far up and over the hood that we may just have to renominate him. Just kidding. Right now, there is a clear leader for the Temper nomination. Sorry, NASCAR fans, it's not Tony Stewart, although he is appearing in another popular episode of Smoke Tells It Like It Is. Instead, we've got two IRL champions who got a little too close on the track at Watkins Glen, inciting this weird pit road reunion not seen since Wyatt Earp called Ike Clanton a dusty cuss. Score another possible nomination for the IRL OK post-race corral, this time at Milwaukee.
I just went up to him, I put my arm around him, and I asked him, I said, I was inside of you, Dan. Why did you come down on me? I don't know if he's mad, that I passed him at Indy and he got passed by 5 more cars or something, but, I don't know.
She nearly put me in the pit wall at Indianapolis, and, I certainly have no problem with everybody else on the track, so I'm sure she's just feeling the pressure of not winning races.
So wrangle up your thoughts here. The final nominees will be announced in November. Over 49,000 of you saddled up to your keyboards last year to vote on the Speed Performance Awards, driven by BF Goodrich. The Cyber Cattle Call will only be on SpeedTV.com.
Check them out, SpeedTV.com. Some pretty good tempers there. Our aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor Technology. Green flag about to come back out here at Pocono as the pace car makes its way back onto pit road. And again, the field in the hands of Jeremy Clements. Green flag in the air. Here we go once again.
See, Mark Mitchell looks to the inside of the 98 of Aaron Crocker for the 3rd spot.
Good restart for Mark Mitchell. They're side by side through turn number 1.
Aaron fights back on the outside. Originally, years ago, the bottom of the racetrack was the groove, but all the drivers say it's gotten so rough down there. That's why a lot of these cars will run through the middle of the racetrack, and that's why Aaron was able to make up that momentum on the outside.
A couple guys running for a championship here. Michael McDowell right behind the 46 of Frank Kimmel. McDowell looked to the inside. Kimmel was able to pull ahead. Here he comes again.
Looked like Frank lost a little speed up off the corner. Michael was going to try to take advantage of that.
McDowell by Frank Kimmel now, so McDowell moves up into the 5th position.
Frank is just not able to get off the corner like Michael McDowell, not like he needs to anyway.
There are your top 5 running right at you.
There's the 50 of A.J. Hendrickson, looks to the inside of Frank Kimmel.
Oh, problems! A.J. Hendrickson into the wall, into Kimmel. Kimmel backs it into the wall. And now another accident here at Pocono. And taking Kimmel out really throws this into the mix of the championship run.
Boy, it sure does. And Michael McDowell does not want to gain points on Frank Kimmel as a result of something like this happen. But A.J. Hendrickson got down the corner on the inside. He lost control like we've seen before. Frank's going to try to get his car going. There's Bill Kimmel, his brother and crew chief right there, and saying, how did this happen?
A lot of damage, not only to the front of that car, but to the back as well. Kimmel's going to try to bring it onto pit road. They're going to try to get it back out there again. They're looking big picture. They're looking at championships. They've got to see if they can get that car up to the minimum speed that ARCA requires for them to be on the racetrack and still racing.
Yeah, there's an incredible amount of damage to that 46 car right there, the Pork Ford Fusion. Look at there is no back of the car. You have a deck lid and nothing underneath it.
Smash the back end of that car. We take another look. A.J. Hendrickson in the 50.
You see him bottom out. Wiggles. He bottomed out and then wiggled and made contact with Frank and ended up putting them both in the outside wall.
take another look.
Remember, you get in this corner absolutely as hard as you can at speeds of upwards of 200 miles an hour. You stand on the brakes, try to get the car rode down. Then you had AJ on the inside where he loses a little bit of air off the rear spoiler. He bottoms out. He gets a little bit loose. He has to chase the car up the hill. Frank's there. They make contact. Into the outside wall they go.
There is a lot of damage on this number 46 car, and so I'm guessing ARCA is going to take a very close look if they will even let him back out on the racetrack, because a lot of the issues now are safety. It probably wouldn't be safe to let that 46 back out on the race car for Frank's concern. I mean, they don't want to have Frank out there maybe get in another accident and have so much of his car more or less missing right now.
A lot of damage to the front and the rear. The right front tire is flat. He's going to bring it to the attention of his brother Bill and crew.
Jim, what's going on down there on pit road?
Well, the car came down pit road. They were kind of methodically looking at the car. You see the nose damage here. It's bent way underneath, right by the airbox. It's already crushed up into that airbox area. You go from there, you see the left front flat, left rear flat, and the rear clip is pretty much bent downward. They're trying to see if the fuel is staying in the car. Yes, it is. So they're just trying to see if they can just salvage 1 or 2 more laps here. As you know, Bobby Gerhardt's out of this event, so it's a big point day for these guys if they can make just a few more laps and gain some more spots in the cars that were involved in that incident. They did not have tire issues today, but boy, did he have a whole host of problems there on that restart.
Jim, they're looking at the radiator right now. It doesn't look like it was hit, but from your vantage point, can you tell, is there damage to it?
That's his brother Billy looking at it right now. I think they're more worried about the air getting in the airbox. The airbox has been crushed from beneath, underneath that Ford Blue Oval. So what you'll find is they won't have enough air to get in there to cool the car. Billy just kind of waved the officials off looking at the front end. Now let's see if he indeed christens the rear end as terminal. We'll see as he crawls underneath the car now. Walking underneath there, there's no fluid dripping from the rear of the Pork Ford. But I think Billy Kimmel's just about ready to say, hang on, we've got some life here. They're looking at the rear end now. He wants to make a look at the rear end to see if that is indeed clean. The rear fender well is not actually touching the tire, so could be where Kimmel gets out and makes just a few more laps on the apron.
Well, there are a number of cars that are off of the racetrack right now. Landon Castle was scored in the 32nd position. He's off the racetrack.
They said they're done.
Sure enough.
I'll get Frank.
We hear that he is off the racetrack and done. And so some of the other cars that are off the racetrack now, Kimmel, he's 2 laps down. James Hilton was 4 laps down. Brian Silas, Bobby Gerhardt, those 2 cars are off the racetrack. So Frank will probably end up high 20s as far as a finishing position for this race, maybe 27, 26, 28, somewhere around there.
Yeah, what a tough break for Frank, though. You know, he's minding his own business, running a top 10. Like, you know, we talked to him earlier during the red flag, and he said, we have to be concerned with the points. He had a great run going. He was doing just what he needed to do. He was right behind his closest pursuer, and then he gets taken out in an accident out of his making. But, you know, it certainly wasn't intentional on A.J. Henderson's part. It's one of those things, but unfortunately for Frank, it's going to put a severe dent in his point lead.
As you mentioned, A.J. Hendrickson bottoming out in turn number 1. He was on the inside of Kimmel, slid up into the back of Kimmel. It turned him around. A lot of damage to the back of the car, and then actually A.J. Hendrickson and Kimmel hitting in the front end of the cars, and so damage to both ends, and they've decided that that's enough. That's A.J. Hendrickson's number 50 that's on the back of the tow truck here, making his way into the garage area. So really attrition has been the story here today. A lot of caution laps, and those caution laps could pay off for Jeremy Clements.
Sure,
as they continue to go around the racetrack under caution. We've completed 70 laps. When they come by this time, it will be the 71st lap completed, so inside of 10 laps of racing to go. And with the gentleman I'm sure is very dejected outside of his car, Jim Trado, now with Frank Kimmel.
Frank, you had a top 5 run there, man. You worked hard today. What did happen?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the tape, but it looked like the 50 car had a little bit of a run on me going into 1. I moved over, let him go, and he forgot to turn. It felt like, I don't know. I got left rear going into 1 at 180, 90 mile an hour, and you're not going to save it. Just destroy the car, and man, you hate that. You run all day. We didn't have a very good car. It was top 5, top 10 car, and we were going to last it out to that. And sometimes you mess with squirrels, you get wrecked, and that's what happened today.
May not be any consolation, but the 50 did say he did think he got loose going in the corner. But You can verify that, can't you?
It usually happens when your rear tires are you get knocked sideways. You know, you just make excuses, and that's why they run like they do. You know, just admit that you made a mistake, you ran over somebody for no reason, and you know, maybe that's why he does what he does.
Your brother Bill was looking seriously to see if you can get even one more lap out there to gain some points. How big of a blow is this for you, point-wise?
Well, you know it was coming. We've had a great year. We've finished a lot of races, done very well as far as just been finishing. But, you know, we picked up our program here today. We were a little bit better than we have been. We're struggling a bit on these racetracks, and, you know, those guys are doing a good job. So we just got to battle all year long.
And he'll battle in Nashville next weekend, guys.
Phil, something amazing, I think, that maybe almost goes unsaid a lot of times is no one has won a championship in the ARCA RE Series since we turned into 2000. I mean, this century. It's been Frank Kimmel. Kimmel has been the name in the ARCA RE Series this century. So for him to now be in a very close points battle is very amazing.
It really is. I mean, you know, when you go to Daytona in February to start the season, that Frank Kimmel's the guy to beat. I mean, he's been there 8 times, so you know he's the guy to beat. And I'm sure, you know, Michael McDowell started off these years with some outside hopes that maybe we'll contend for a championship, but they've gotten better and better and better and better. And talking to him before the race, you can see right now, this is as they run right now, and Frank Kimmel may continue to fall a few more spots. Michael McDowell
could move up.
Michael McDowell could move up. He's close to within 50 points as of right now, so we've got a battle on our hands.
A very tight battle in the points championship race for the 2007 season. Frank Kimmel leading the points coming into this race. Michael McDowell second coming in was 145 points out. The difference now just 50 as Kimmel is no longer in the race.